Position of the machine, you're now ready to apply suction simply by moving this lever across into the green zone. What you've noticed then, when suction was applied, the vacuum gauge needle went round and eventually reached the green zone. And when it reached the green zone, the green light came on, indicating that it's safe to lift. The vacuum pumps are now switched off. If, for any reason, the vacuum gauge doesn't immediately rise, you may have to apply pressure to the 4 suction pads. That's just simple manual pressure down. That sometimes happens when the seals are new, but after 2 or 3 lifts they will bed down and it should be easy to get suction. We're now in a stage where we can actually lift the panel. As I pointed out earlier, the battery meter is indicating just under 12, between 12.5 and 13 volts. As you use the machine, if you lift many panels, that will work its way down to 12 volts. Once it gets below 12 volts, it probably indicates that you're ready to charge the machine, but that's unlikely to happen during a normal day's operation. To release suction, which we'll show you later, but simply it's a case of pulling the pin out and rotating the lever. And as soon as you do that, vacuum is released and suction on the panel is lost, so don't do that until the panel is retained and in position. Once you've got suction, you can then start to hoist the panel. Now, because you're doing vertical panels and we've offset the machine towards one end, the top end of the panel, as you lift it, the panel will automatically lift at one end first and slowly rotate and eventually go into a almost vertical orientation once you're off of the ground. Just a word of note, as it's rotating and lifting from the stack, this bottom edge has a tendency to scrape along the panel below it. So you'll need to either use a couple of people to hold the panel off the clear of the panel below, or you can put some packaging between the 2 panels, stiff, thick cardboard, polystyrene for example, to allow the panel to slide along the one below it without damaging it. But it's important that you pay attention to that, otherwise you'll get scratches on the panel below. Okay. When you've got it slightly hoisted above the pack, the last thing to do is to apply the secondary safety strap. That simply passes round the panel, clips into the hook at the side, adjust the length. Okay.
Chuck a little bit back.
You don't need it too tight, you need it just tight enough with enough slack so you can actually remove the hook when you get the panel against the wall. And now you can complete the lift. Now, we don't have enough room, a head height in our warehouse to actually go high enough, but once you get high enough, you can rotate the bottom of the panel down, push it towards the machine, and eventually you'll hear a click as it locks into position. The panel will then be held from the machine and ready to actually go against the wall. It will never hang exactly vertical. When you present it to the wall, you'll need to push the base of the panel against the wall to get it completely upright. And obviously in the final few inches of manoeuvring, when you're against the wall, you need to remove the secondary safety strap. And that's done from the scissor lift or the cherry picker. And that's about all I can tell you at this stage. Just one other note, with the panels that you're lifting, you've got quite thick rock wool panels, which are probably smooth faced. There's something called static bond which occurs, where the top panel can sometimes be stuck to the one below it, and it's a good idea to break that bond simply by moving the panel a few inches to one side or the other before you actually apply suction or apply the machine to get suction on the panel. So releasing the static bond can help protect the panel. I'm going to stop this video and I'll finally show you a final short video of how to store the machine when you're not using it.